Hi everyone, welcome back to Plum Mashable. So I'm celebrating Washi Wednesday over here by making some cards with washi tape. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright, today's video is going to feel like by the end of it we've done a lot. But I'm actually going to show you some ways to use washi tape in your card making. Because I know, and I'm sure you're all like me, I have hundreds upon hundreds of rolls of washi tape. And I do use them, but I don't tend to use them as much as I should. So what I'm going to do today is show you how you can use washi tape in with some other bits and pieces to make cards, or to make some cards. So the first one I'm going to start off with is the most simple one, although there's one other one that's very simple as well. But this one I just like to call a plain card with a giant sentiment. That's all this is going to be. You will end up, this is a little hint, you will end up with some extras here. And then I might do an extra video maybe over on Instagram with how I use my extras and my offcuts, but we'll come back to that. So to start off with, I'm just getting some cardstock. I'm using cardstock just because it's a little bit more solid, and I'll do it for the first one that I will show you how I run my washi tape. The rest of them I'll just cut straight to having the card, because otherwise we're going to be here forever. So the first one I'm going to do with a bit of an ocean theme. So I'm grabbing out my washi tapes. And anything that's got an ocean kind of theme to it, I'm grabbing out. Not everything, because I have plenty of oceany kind of themed ones. So I'm going to grab those ones. Oh, I want my Desley bubbles. I'm going to grab my jellyfish. I'm only going to grab one of the jellyfish, I think. Come on. I'll tell you who all of these are from in a second as well. I just need to get them out. There we go. Okay, I have tons more here, but I don't want to go too over the top because I feel like that'll be going a bit far. So I'm just then putting them in an order that I think is nice, and I'm trying to avoid having foil next to foil or little next to little. I reckon I like that one. Okay, so this one is from Hobby Hoppers. These three, so the whales. Oh, sorry, I need to add one extra one in. Where are my whales? Hold on, it might be the wrong colour. No, it'll be fine. I'm going to add just a little bit of purple in here, but it's okay because the purples come from the jellyfish as well. So the whales, the little turtles, and the big turtles, these ones are from Mr. Moose. The bubbles are from Desley Jane Plans and Hobby Hoppers. The jellyfish are from Fox and Cactus. This is an old Kaisercraft one, and this is another one from Hobby Hoppers. So depending on what kind of card you're going to do, it's when you kind of need to think which way do I want to put this. But this one, I'm going to do a really simple one and just go horizontal or vertical, depending on which way you're holding your paper. And just repeat the pattern the whole way down. It's so simple that it's just not funny. So all I do, line them up next to each other, stick them down, and then I put them in their pile so that I can repeat when we get to the other one. Yeah, that works too because the purple's in the Desley. So I'm just going to continue this all the way down the page. I like to just go around and just cut off the edges. I don't feel the need to use a trimmer for this. I don't think I need to. And it doesn't matter if you happen to accidentally hit the edge of the cardstock, because we're gonna, how did I miss that? We're going to trim this out with a die anyway, so it won't make any difference. Now I will point something else out. I'm actually going to just grab a piece of paper out of my planner for a sec. while we're talking washi tape and everything, this was something I had been doing as just a bit of fun, and just sticking down like all my washi offcuts. That's a cool way to do this too. There's that washi offcut page will look really good as a card as well. Obviously I put mine in my planner, but you could do another off one. Actually, you know what? Let's do that. So for every little bit, I've obviously ruined those ones, but for every little bit of tape I pull off today, I'm going to put over here, and we'll see maybe at the end, if I haven't gone, you know, forever, we might be able to do like a bonus video or so, a bonus card, or I might make it off camera and show you guys on Instagram or something. So just cutting off all of the excess. Right, that's now cut out, so we can grab out a die. You don't have to use a die for this. You can very easily just use a, just cut it out whichever way you like. I'm going to do this as a horizontal card. So this is where I didn't really need to do all of those because they're not going to fit anyway. I'm just having a look and seeing where I like this. I really want to go that way, but then my messages won't fit. I have an idea. I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to this one. Actually, we'll do this one as the other one first. So this one can be, oh dear. No, we'll just go with it. I'll make two though, because I can get two out of this. So I'm just going to line this up on the edge here. I'm just going to grab my trimmer. I'm going to end up making way more than 5 cards here. I can see it coming. So I'm going to cut this on the whales, and just using a bit of an offcut of the ones we used before. See, I knew I had them for a reason. Just going to hold this in place. I like to make it so that it doesn't sort of stop at one tape, so that it kind of overhangs the edges. I just think it looks nicer. And again, you don't need to use a die for this. You can just trim it out and make it a square. These are the Uniquely Creative stitched rectangles. I'm just using these ones because they line up with Aussie cards a little bit better. But if you've got Lawn Fawn ones or Hero Arts ones or whatever, any kind of rectangle will work. Just pull that off gently, because you don't want to accidentally pull off any of the tape. But this way you get that sort of stitching detail around the outside, and it just looks cool. So I'm just going to do the other one as well. So we've got 2 backgrounds, basically with just some like it's just tape. There's nothing else to it. So then this is where we pull out something like this. So this is the Lawn Fawn Giant Birthday Messages. We're going to use these as our sort of sentiment to make a big bold kind of thing. So I'm going to stamp both of these out using my Misty and some blending card. And I'm using blending card because I am going to just add a little bit of colour to these with my Copics. So I'll just grab these out. You don't have to use giant things. You can just use sort of regular sized ones. Let the washi be a bit more of the style. But I find this works and it just looks really, really effective. So I'm going to do both at once. Stamp them out just with some Copic friendly ink. I'm going to use my Hero Arts Intense Black. And then with the Copics, I'm adding just a little bit of blue, just to kind of bring everything together. So it's going to reverse. Before I do that, I'm going to cut them out. This is just using the die that came with it. Just using a little bit of that washi again that we didn't use in the first place. Lining this up. This is the other reason that I wanted to use the stitch, because I know there's a stitch detail on here as well. That one will just be a square instead. Actually, I'm still going to have it as a... No, stop playing with it, it'll be fine. So I'm going to add just a little bit of... This one I'm going to do with teal, the May Your Birthday Wishes, and I'm going to make it sit on this one, because I want to pull the teal out of this one. You don't have to do a 2 blend here, you could easily just use one. I'm a crazy person though, so I like to add 2 markers. So I'm just colouring in the happy. Oh, and maybe some of the splashes. So then I'm just going to use some foam tape to mount these up, and it's just because I do want something a little bit raised, or a little bit, just to give this a little bit of dimension, because it does look a little bit flat. So just for anyone that's going to ask, the Copic colours I used there, for the teal I used BG 34 and 32, and then for the blue I used B24 and B26. I am going to add just a little bit of yellow. So this is Y38. It's actually technically more orange. I didn't want to. I was kind of looking at it going, no, I don't want to, but it looks really boring without it. So just adding in just a little bit of that Y38. And that kind of picks up on the colour of the starfish, so it's not so bad. I am also going to fix my boo-boo with coming outside the lines. I'm just using a white gel pen. It's so easy to do. Actually, and I'm going to add some accents while I'm here. So just down the wishes, I'm just going to add some white highlights, because I can. I'm not going to put any on the birthday one though, so that's fine. I'll mount these all on card bases at the end of the video off camera, so you guys don't have to watch that. But I'll just mount all of these onto card bases and show you at the end. So I'm just trying to do that by eye, make sure it sits right. Easy peasy. And then we'll do the same thing with this one. And there we go. 2 washi cards. Very simple to do, very easy, nothing complicated, but really, really, really effective. All right, next one I'm going to do, like I said, I'm going to do these a little bit faster now, so that you guys don't have to sit here all day. This is just an extra bit of cardboard. I'm going to use the Starburst backdrop from Lawn Fawn for this one. So all I'm going to do is just cover this with some washi tape first, cover the cardstock, and then we're going to cut it out using the die. This one I'm going to use red, orange and yellow washi tape as a bit of a sunset themed thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. That one was a little bit more difficult because I didn't have as much yellow tape as I thought I did. And then I didn't realise, or I forgot that I needed to kind of have a bit more. But I actually really like that. I think that effect is really cool. So for this one, for the sentiment, rather than using the big one, I'm going to use these ones. These ones are called Magic Messages. And I'm going to use this one here that says Hello Sunshine, because to me that's just, you know, the perfect one. There you go, the Hello Sunshine at the top. I'm going to put this, I'm just sort of debating how I do the actual message. Okay, so what I'm going to do, this is just a bit of A4 cardstock that I've just folded over, and I'm going to just cut it to be the same size as my square, as my backdrop. Behind it. I'll just put a little bit of orange and yellow ink behind it. So I might do this as a emboss resist. But rather than using white heat embossing powder, I'm going to use clear, because that way it'll get the sort of white from the cardstock anyway. So I won't have to worry about it. I'm just doing this with a block, just I feel like it's going to be a little bit easier. But you can obviously use your Misty. It sounds silly, I love that my ink pad at the moment is a bit dirty, because it means you guys can actually see when I use clear embossing ink. Although we'll give it a bit of a grey instead of a white, I think, here, but that's alright. I'm just going to go ahead and heat set this and then rub out those lines, and I'll be right back. Alright, sentiment on. So I need to go orange to yellow down here. So first thing I'm going to do is just hold this down. go ahead and stick this down. I'm just going to use tape runner. I don't need to use anything fancy. Tape runner. I've been watching too many lawn fawn videos. Glue tape, sorry. And that'll also then hold this card flat because we do have a bit of warping because of the heat. Love this backdrop, it's so cute. It just adds a little bit to this card. Now what I'd noticed when I was doing this was that I've now used horizontal twice, a horizontal washi tape twice, which I was going to try not to do, but it's done now. That's really bad. This is why we love glue tape. If I ever have trouble lining it up, I always just grab a, just make sure I do it the right way. Yes, that way. Grab my Misty or grab my score tool because it will help me stick this down straight. And I will sit this under something heavy for the next couple of minutes while I finish the next lot off, just so that we try and get rid of some of that warping. And I'm just trimming off the bottom. But there we go. We have a colour theme kind card now. So now we've got a different kind again. So we've done a theme by, like two cards by theme, and now we've done a card by colour. So next one I'm actually going to do something, I say it's very boring. It's not very boring at all, but it's just one kind of card, and that's because we're going to end up being able to get two out of this. So I'm just cutting that half, roughly. So this will be our card fronts. Ha! Go me. I never get that right. So I'm grabbing this lovely, lovely, lovely tape from Hobby Hoppers. I just love the pattern on it. And because it's so dark, it's going to give us a completely different look. It's going to look like horizontal, but it'll end up going vertical. And just lining this up, like lining the pattern up, it works perfectly. Do you know what else is really cool? This is one of Trisha's scratch and sniff ones. So the smell is amazing. I'm just trying to line it up. Also so I don't waste too much at either end. You'd seriously never know that was washi tape except for the fact that I've got a couple where the lines aren't completely perfect. But the smell is great. Now I'm just trimming this off. So for this one, this is going to be a 2-for-1 card. We're going to use this giant happy birthday one. We're going to have this sitting, I said I was going to run it vertical. So I'm going to use this. I'm just having a look with my stitch rectangles if this will fit on here. May just. So this one's mainly just going to stick the stitching in as opposed to actually cutting anything out, but that's alright. So I'm just using some of that tape. I'm just going to run this through the machine. If it doesn't work, that's okay. Alright, so then I'm going to cut out my happy birthday from the middle. So I'm just going to use that tape to hold it down and run it straight through. And I do find sometimes with washi cards that you do have to send them through twice. This one's actually cut really nicely. Now, biggest thing here, don't lose your middle bits. So we'll pull the whole die out. For card number 1, I'm just grabbing a bit of black. I think black will just look nicer for this one. So this is just a black card base. I have a bunch of pre-cut ones in my drawer. Using some tweezers, I'm just going to pop out this sentiment. The good thing about this one is the I dot is actually stuck, so it's very easy. It's all one bit. Actually, I've just remembered something. I still need to pop this out, but we need to do this round the other way. Before we put this card base or this card together, I need to put this one together first. So we're going to grab the card base, stick this bit down first. So glue tape all the way around. You can obviously use foam tape or normal glue. I feel like for this one, glue tape is just an easier option. So do it all the way around, but then you also need to get in to the just grabbed a bit of scrap paper out of my drawer. So you need to get in on all these little edgy bits because you need these to stick down too. So try and get as close to the edges as you can. And then we'll just stick this down. That looks really weird. This is where we bring in, number one, bring in the actual cut bit, put that down, and then you bring in the little bits that you had. So I'm going to put this together like a puzzle. Now the easiest way I find to do it is to not get it stuck on the bit of glue that you've already used, because that's silly. So I'm just going to fold this over so I can keep using that same piece of paper. Stick them all out, turn them all over, glue them all first, and then you can start putting the puzzle together. And it is exactly a puzzle. That's all it is. So flip them over. Make sure you've got tweezers for this because you definitely need them. Oh, you probably don't need them, but I highly suggest them. Whole thing on there. Looks like you've lost it. You just pick this up. So you just need to grab hold of it. If you can't pick it up, just fold your card a little bit. I love this. It's like a reveal. How good's that? Oh, I love that so much. I love that. I was really worried I wouldn't like it. That's cool. And it's just so simple. It's just so simple. And then you get to use the other side. So I'm just using that black cardstock again. Fold that over. Now this one, we're just going to step it up just a teensy little bit because I'm a crazy person and we know I have to. So you could obviously just stick it down straight like that, and that's all it needs to be. I'm just going to add just a little something. So I'm going to grab a bit of that white cardstock and my happy birthday die again. Should be able to get 2 out of this one, I think. So I'm going to cut 2 more of these. I may cut 1 more after that. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that really fast. Okay, we don't need to worry at all about the other bits this time. So I'm going to stack these 3 up. So this will give us some dimension. So I'm going to use liquid glue for this one. It just gives you the ability to move it around a little bit if you have to. Actually feels really solid. And then I'm just going to offset this just a little bit, and it's going to give us this little shadow that then when you put it on here, it'll just look a little bit something. I'm just trying to work out which way I want my shadow to go. It might just be me, but I actually really like that white just on its own. I don't want a big shadow because it doesn't busy the pattern, but it just doesn't look as good as I sort of hoped it would. Just a little offset, it just pops. Alright, so I'm going to put not all the glue, but put a bit of glue on the back here. I've got a little bit of mess on there, that's fine. I'm actually just going to spin it over and use it the other way because that side's clean. I am just looking at it going, wait a minute, something's not quite right, like with the whole card as a whole. It's not the sentiment or anything, it's just I feel like the card looks unfinished. So to finish it, I'm actually going to grab another strip of it, another strip of the washi, put that down here. I'm going to cut 2, and I may only end up using 1, but I'm going to use 2. So this is just the offcut of that cardboard that I used before. Just butting it up against the edge. And I'm going to leave a little white gap. And then I'm going to put another bit down. You'll see why in just a sec. try and keep it as straight as I can. I probably should have used my grid mat to keep that straight, but it'll be fine. Just making sure there's no white edge on this bit, or very little white edge. And then I'm going to put this straight down the middle, try and get an even amount of white on either side. May need to trim that a bit more, but we'll see. So what I'm sort of seeing if I can do here is add that to the top. So the white was just designed to add a little bit of contrast. This is the only one I'm struggling with and I don't know why. There we go. Just need to have the whole thing there. Just stick that down with some glue tape. Now there is, on the top of this one, there's just a teensy little bit of white. I'm just going to get rid of it. I'm just going to trim the washi to be, like trim the whole bit to be a little bit smaller. Now I've already put the glue on there, which is kind of annoying, but it'll be fine. I'm going to go ahead and stick both of these down, trim off the excess and then stick on the sentiment, and I'll come back to show you the finished card. There we go. That's not quite straight, but it's pretty close, so I will be fine with that. If I was going to do that again, the only thing I'd do different I'd use silver behind, and then I could use silver tape there instead, but I still think it looks pretty awesome. So there's the two for one basically, using the same bit of washi paper. Alright, I know I'm going a long time, but I have so many ideas and I need to get them all out. So the next one is a Christmas one. This one's actually one of my favourites. So I have so much Christmas washi tape. There's so much here. By the way, you should just see how messy my office is right now. So for the Christmas washi, or the Christmas card, I'm kind of wanting to go with green is sort of where I want to be here, but I'm not quite sure. Because I'm going to kind of do these as trees. So I'm going to do a green, a mint, and alright, let's add a bit of metallic in here. I'm going to add some gold. So we've got green, silver and gold. That's the worst gold paper I could have picked. That one. I'll do this one instead. So we're going to have green, mint and gold. This one I need to cover it this way. Actually, let's do the fun part. Let's do it diagonally. I don't need this much cardstock though, so and it takes too long to do. I'm going to cover it quick, and I'll come back and we'll do the rest of it together. So that's what we end up with in our little cardstock bit. I really like that. And then what I've gone ahead and done is cut myself out a little triangle. So all I did here, grabbed I think it's about a 4 centimeter, where's my ruler gone? So it's a 4 centimeter bit of cardstock, folded it in half, and then cut it with my paper trimmer so that I've got that straight line. This is just going to be my guide. So I need to cut out 3 of these trees. So all I'm going to do is just tracing around them on the back of this. Not even doing the bottom. Oh, I better do the bottom. If I line them up right, I'll be able to do one cut along the bottom separate, because I need to have all 3 of them. Now I'm hoping that I'll be able to fit the 3rd one in the middle there, because I don't want to have the upside down tree. If you had a pattern that didn't have like words or anything, you could really easily just do it upside down and it would be fine. But because I've got words, I kind of have to keep them all up the same way. So this is just I'm just tracing. It doesn't matter if it's messy, because when we start cutting, these will be a bit nicer. So I'm just trimming first each of them out one by one, because that way I can work around them with the trimmer. I'll start off with this one. I'm just going to show you how I do this, and then from there I'll do the others. So I'm just extending that line. It doesn't need to be perfect, because we've got the sort of benefit of it being a paper trimmer, but just try and get it as close as you can. Alright, so I've got my 3 little trees cut out. I actually think that looks really cool. And I love that they're all just a little bit different. So because of where we put them on the card, each of them are different. So I've gone ahead and cut out one of my scalloped nesting rectangles. These are from Uniquely Creative. And I'm just going to have them sit 1, 2, 3, just like that. And I'm going to try and put them in a straight line if I can. I'm going to put them up on some foam tape. And then, just because I can, this is just a bit of glitzy tape. I'm just going to use it afterwards to make the little stumps. So the stumps are going to be flat, but the trees will be up on that foam tape. So I'm just grabbing some tape. I'll just go ahead and mount them all up. This is a very new tool to my office. This is my T-ruler. Got this from Dawn. I just want to try and make this. I'm really worried about it not being straight, so I just want to line it up. So hold on, a bit of tape to hold it down. Obviously I can use my mat. There are other ways to do this. You don't have to get the T-ruler out, but I just really want this one to be straight. So we'll do the middle one first. Have that in the right spot. Just check the other 2. Is that how I had it? I don't think I did. I just don't want it to look like it's the same bit of tape the whole way across the diagonal. That's what I'm trying to avoid. Okay, so what I've done is I've gone ahead and inked up the background here of my card base. I just used pine needles for that. It wasn't too difficult. I am going to do a little bit of surgery to my card in a sec, but I just want to get it down on the base first. So standard size card base as an A4 size, so Australian size. Stuck that down. Now what I've done is I've made myself this little sentiment, and I really like it, but I don't like that it's covering up my little tree here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the tree up. Just trying to be gentle with it. Not worried about the foam at this point. I'll fix that in a sec. I'm going to cut the tree shorter. Cut the tree shorter. This should fit in nicely and won't be a problem. So I'm just making it straight. And I'm just going to do it by eye. Have a look at it, see what I think. Lining it back up with the others. And this is why we left the foam on, because we might be able to get away with this. There we go. That's perfect. Cool. So I've stuck that straight back down again. You can't even see it. A little bit of glue tape on here. This is just the same sentiment that's on that tape that I put down on cardboard, and then it's a bit of, need more tape. Kiki K gold tape. Love their gold tape, especially at Christmas time. And there we go. And I kind of like that one in the middle is a little different. I think that's cool. Oh. Got a little bit of tape sticking out there. Rather than pulling it up again, I'm just going to grab my tweezers and just shove it. You'll never see it behind there anyway. Won't matter. Okay. I have one more. This next one is the easiest of all of them. I really like that. This one, before I move on from that one, if you're interested in using washi paper to make different things, Trish from Hobby Hoppers has a great video. I will link it down below on how to make your washi tape into like little presents. She's also got one on trees, I think. I will link down below to both of those. So all I've done is just cut myself out one of the largest of the Uniquely Creative rectangles. I'm grabbing this gorgeous tape. This is from Hobby Hoppers. It's just this gorgeous washi, washi, but butterfly washi. It's just stunning. This is going to be the simplest of all of my cards, but it's also going to be, I think, the prettiest. So I want to grab, don't know if this is going to work. No, I'm going to use this one instead. So I've got this little, I think this was a Target tape. I'm going to line this up with my grid mat, put it here to about a third of the way up. It doesn't have to be 100% a third, but it just needs to be straight. Okay, putting that one down first. And then I'm coming over. I just want a really skinny strip of this. So what I'm going to do which may not work, but I'm going to try it anyway. Just using my craft knife, I'm just going to trim this tape. So just to how thin I want it. I'm not pushing hard here. I'm just pushing lightly to get through the washi, and that should be all you need. The best thing about washi tape is that it is so malleable. I think that's the right word. You can make it do some really cool things if you try. So I've cut that really thin. Yes, check that out. Oh no, and it's fine because it went off to the edge. That's fine. Yay! And then I can use this tape all down the end of this. So I'm just going to repeat the pattern just on this bottom third, trying not to have the same butterflies too close to each other. So this one I'm probably going to end up wasting a little bit, but that's okay. So I have just not quite measured this right. I should have started at the bottom and come up and then put the tape on top, but I didn't, so oh well. So I'm going to pull this up. I'm not stressing about cutting too much of this off this time because the die is going to do that for me. So I'm going to grab in that same die and I'm going to nest it on here so it'll find where it cut before. Obviously just try and make sure you're using the right side, as in if you put it through this way, make sure the stitches line up. I'm just going to run this back through the machine again, and all this will do is just give us that stitch on top of the tape. There you go, and it'll cut off all the excess at the same time. Now if you're someone like me that gets really antsy when you have marks from your die cut machine on a plain white card base, just grab yourself an eraser and just rub over the top. It not always works, but it works 99.9% of the time. Okay, for the butterfly, I'm grabbing these, for the rest of the card, sorry, I want to put a big butterfly on it. I'm grabbing the background and then this intricate kind of one. I think I'm going to use the rose gold. I've just got this extra bit of cardstock up here. So I'm going to cover this with that rose gold tape. Don't know if I have enough of it to do it, but I'm going to do it anyway because I want it to match. So I'm just going to go ahead and do a washi card with just this rose gold. I'm just going to be careful though because I don't want to use too much of it. Go, and then just going to run that through the machine. Not going to even cut off the excess because I don't need to. The machine will do it for me. Okay, now this is really delicate, this butterfly, so I'm just pulling it up off my, so I'm just putting out the other bits. Don't lose them because you can use these the same way we used our happy birthday ones. We could use those very easily here to do an inlay and do a black. You can do this two ways. You can either just have the butterfly sitting there like that. You can fold him up and have her sort of, you could easily put like a vellum behind it. Would look really pretty. I'm on the vellum fence, kids. Okay, that's not laid 100% perfect, but it's pretty close. I'm just going to fold up the wings because I just want them to sit up just a little bit. And then I'm going to put a run of glue on the back, just straight down the middle, one whole line. So it'll sit off my card base a little bit. Then for the sentiment, I'm going to cheat just a little bit. So I grabbed this the last time I did a Uniquely Creative order. I grabbed the, this is the Tranquility cut apart sheet. I knew I was going to do this card. I've been thinking about it for ages. So I knew I was going to do it. So as soon as I saw this cut apart sheet, I was like, yeah, I'm going to grab that. I'm going to trim that because then it means I don't have to find a butterfly sentiment. I've already got one. And then I think I'm going to use, kind of debating Never Hide Your Wings Beautiful. It's just going to sit on top of that. Or I Hope This Brightens Your Day. We'll go Brightens Your Day. I'm just going to have it off to the side and I'll just trim it down to make it be the right size. Actually, I'm going to make the edge a flag. I'm just going to make it a little bit longer. There we go. I'm always a bit nervous making flags. I never do a good job. Part of me wants to go nuts now and put like scatters of rose gold paint all over the top of the white bit, but I'm gonna avoid the urge. I don't need to do it. It'll be fine. It looks great the way it is. I am a little worried about it being off the page though, so I may pull this up in just a sec. See if we can move it to a different spot. Best thing about glue tape, you have got time to be able to pull it up. I'm just going to pull it down a little bit so it doesn't sit off quite as much. I feel like that looks a little bit better. There we go. That's the last of the cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to go and clean up my mess, and I'm going to put the rest of them on card bases so I can show you each of them, and then I'll come back to finish up. Okay, so I've cleaned up all my mess. That took me a while. I also just want to show you, this is my pile of washi that I use that now I have to put back. I love playing with my washi tapes, and I still seriously haven't pulled out even more than a quarter of my collection. It's ridiculous. But these are the cards that I ended up making. I'll just show you them one by one. I have just mounted these on a regular size card base wherever possible. So that's that first one we did, or the first two we did, sorry. With just the washi tape that way, and then the giant message. You can obviously do that vertically or diagonally if you wanted to do them a different way. And you can do this by theme, you can do it by colour, you can do it by rainbow. Oh, rainbow would have looked awesome. Why didn't I think of rainbow? Oh well. So easy to do. So easy to do. And if you've got a lot of washi tapes like I do, you're going to be able to pull themes together without even trying to think about it. So easy. And I love this one. I think the teal looks really lovely. And even that one's gorgeous. Love. This one's probably my least favourite, but only because I'm annoyed at the sentiment because I messed it up. But I do love the gradient of the colours down the side. I think the sunburst backdrop actually looks really good over that washi tape. It just gives it an extra little bit. That's a top folding card. You could also do like have the hole in the middle and then have this bit, and you could have embossed on the top so it all sat together. Lots of things you could have done with that. I don't hate it. I just wish that had been white instead of the grey kind of colour it looks like, but that's okay. These ones actually turned out so much better than I thought they would. I really like this one. I think the white pop really did help, but like I said when I did it, I think it would have looked better if I had it done silver. But I really love that one too, just for something simple. And it would be really cool to be able to like grab like a flower die cut or something. This one, it's almost my favourite. It's almost my favourite. I love the Christmas trees. I think they look great. I think if I were to do this again, I'd make them all a bit smaller and then put stars on the sides of the two on the left and the right. But quite honestly, that's still really, really cool. And this one, it turned out exactly the way I had imagined it in my head, which my cards usually don't do that. I am still kind of considering putting the splatter on it, but I think there's something very cool about just the way the rose gold gets hit. I love adding foil to cards, and sometimes adding foil to cards can be rather difficult. So it's nice to be able to do it in such a simple way, because all of these in one way or another have some foiling except for these two. But there we go. I hope this helps you kind of think about your washi stash a little bit differently. I feel like we all just use them in sort of like lines on planner pages, but they are capable of so much more than that if you're willing to sort of think outside the box. Make yourself some washi paper. You don't have to use cardstock, just use paper. Use your die cuts, use your paper trimmer, trim them up, see what you get. There are some really awesome combinations of things that you can get by just using washi tape and by using some clever dies. These ones are really clever with the sentiments. These ones are really clever, and I know Lawn Fawn are coming out with some more in their release this week. I have a feeling there might be some Christmas ones, which I may have to get because some of these kind of Christmas ones would be schmicko. Yeah, there are so many easy ways to use washi tape in your card making, so I hope this has helped. If you did enjoy this one, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to be subscribed. If you want to see other kinds of cards using washi, please let me know. I will think of some, but just for now, this is the good basic way of doing it. I hope you guys have an absolutely awesome rest of your day, and I'll catch you again in my next video. Sending lots of huggles. Bye!